most of the people that are in the community in TDAH are on their second round.
Oh, wow.
Because the first time they did it, they're like, this is great information. I learned a lot and I had some changes. But going through it a second time is where they're really experiencing the real huge changes, because the first is like this shift. And so it's fun getting to hear people in their second round going, oh my gosh, I so get it. And this has like really radically changed me. And the stories that are coming out of it is just amazing at the life changes, relationship changes that people are experiencing, because that's all part of true growth and true healing.
All right. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Happy Life Agenda. I am Dani C. And today we are have an incredibly exciting guest. If you have ever tried weight loss and dieting and you always seem to gain the weight back, you need to listen to this show. I am joined today by Polly Hamp, CEO and founder of TDAH, which stands for Think Differently About Health. Her concepts are a game changer for the industry. And wherever you are in your weight loss journey, TDAH is the missing piece that will ensure results. So as someone who has been in the health and fitness industry for more than 2 decades, I am so thrilled to share Polly's approach with you. So Polly, thank you so much for joining us. Tell me a little bit about tell our audience a little bit about who you are and what inspired TDAH.
Well, thank you for having me. And I just want to say, I love your Happy Life Agenda. And I just love everything that it stands for and empowering women and just all the things. So just thank you for having me. And so, yes, my name is Polly Hamp, and founder and CEO of TDAH, Think Differently About Health, because that's how we all want to live, right? Like that whole TDAH life, right? It's just feeling fully alive and just so in alignment with that happy life agenda. But we get so stuck in all of the emotional aspects. And it's like, we yo-yo diet. It's like we hate our bodies and we just think we have to look a certain way or be a certain way to live happily. But what ends up happening is we get fed by the diet industry all of these lies of how to quote unquote do that. And so, I started this pretty much because of my own health journey. I've been on yo-yo diets pretty much since I was 8 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember the first time thinking I was fat at 8. And I was a skinny, scrawny kid. I was always outside. I'm a Gen Xer, so we were outside all the time,
Right.
running until the streetlights were out. I went on, but it's just a mindset that was generational. And that whole body image and everything that was fed you through commercials and advertisements and then also my family of origin as well. And so really, I've worked with clients for almost over a decade in the trauma recovery coaching world. I'm also an NLP licensed master practitioner, and really helping people find freedom from trauma and really find freedom from the things that keep them stuck. And it's really about a paradigm shift of what's going on in your thought processes. And if that doesn't change, then health can't follow, because You're trying to change it at a level. Like you said, you've been in that industry for so long. And if we're just trying to change it by what we eat and how much we work out, and not do the emotional work, then the longevity of change is very difficult.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. So I just love what you're doing, because if people can push that away and say, it's about me and who I am and loving myself, I don't need all of that, then the results really stick.
Yes. Yeah. When you get all of those things in alignment, the mind, body, spirit, emotionally, physically, all of those things, when that comes in alignment, health is going to follow. Like the choices that you make, because exercise and eating clean is really important. But if you're doing it from a survival part of your brain, which we talk about, we go through, what is your brain doing? Where are you living from? Are you survival or living fully alive and truly connected? But if you're doing all of those things in the survival part of your brain, they just leave you stuck and frustrated. And in that pattern of yo-yo consumerism, diets, all of the things.
Right, right. And changes your hormones and all of those things that can prevent you
Yes.
from losing weight no matter how hard you work, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So the question that I'm sure is on everyone's mind is, millions of people are losing weight with semaglutide and other GLP agonists. And, we know that these drugs come with uncomfortable side effects. They're very expensive. And, a lot of the conversation is, oh my gosh, I have to be on this for the rest of my life. So one of the things that I love about what you're doing is that it works in conjunction with anything, with any diet, or it can almost be a replacement and a maintenance plan. So tell me a little bit about what you would recommend for someone who's been on this GLP agonist journey and how TDAH can help.
Everybody has a different path. And so it is that place of going, if you're on this, still do the emotional work, because eventually you will more than likely get off of it. And it's something that you're not, just like every other kind of fantastic offer of, I remember Fen and,
Remember those?
and all of these things that were like, this is the cure to obesity. This is the cure to losing weight. Even if you, have, 20 pounds to lose, this is it. And, but if you don't do the emotional work, you will end up right back where you were before. Almost always. And I'm not going to say always. I'm not going to say 100% because it's never 100%. But the majority of people that are looking for the quick fix, looking for the miracle drug, looking for the things that will change them, like the miracle drug, if you don't do the emotional work, you're going to stay stuck in the exact same place and come right back to it. Or like me, when I hit my highest weight, it was several years ago. I almost hit 200 pounds and I was standing in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I hate myself. And this is like, I'm a trauma recovery coach. Like I work with people every day, and I come from a background of pretty high level trauma and I've done my own work and all that. But I stand in the front of the mirror and I was like, I hate my body. And I had this realization. I was like, when I was a size 2 and a size 0, I hated my body then too. So this is clearly not about my weight. This is clearly about the lens and how I see myself. And when I had that epiphany and that realization, it's like, I hated my body at its heaviest. I hated my body at its smallest. This is not about what I weigh. This is about my mindset. And so that took me on a whole nother journey of going, when I can connect to myself, love my body, no matter where it's at, do the emotional work and the trauma work, then everything fell in line. And now I am, I'm incredibly healthy. I'm pretty much, it's crazy. If you look at my pictures, I'm aging backwards. Like
Wow.
It is wild to look at just you can see it in my eyes. I've heard people say, because I do a lot of teaching and training, they're like, I can hear it in your voice. Your voice sounds different. And it's just crazy because like when you do that deep work and if you're going to use the GLPs, if you're going to use any of the medications, if you're going to use all that stuff, please also do the emotional work.
Yes.
Don't just do the very surface thing to try to get that quick fix. Do the work.
That's such great advice. Again, we've said I've been in this industry for a really long time. And, when I started my career, it was all about the nutrition and the exercise. And the more that I had conversations with clients, I realized, that there is no such thing as a one size fits all diet. And the thing that I kept coming back to was that it was the really individualized conversations with each of them. And it took, a lot of time and effort to break down and go through all of the reasons that, they couldn't lose weight or they felt like they needed to lose weight. And so I think you've just really hit such an incredible thing that we need in our society, which is no matter what you're doing, if this part isn't right, then none of it's going to stick. And it doesn't matter how amazing, best-selling the diet or the book is. And what I loved is you said, I'm aging backwards because you're finding yourself. And that's the thing that keeps you young and whole. So this is really phenomenal. So one of the things that I want to ask you is, who is an ideal candidate for TDAH? Like, kind of tell our audience, like, if they're considering this, what boxes do they need to check before they go to your website and get signed up?
Yeah, that is a great question. The ideal candidate is the man or woman who stands in front of the mirror and hates themselves, or like, even if it's this internal dialogue, it's this dialogue of like, oh, it's bathing suit season. I've got to do all these things, so if those things, if your internal dialogue is tracking with self-hatred, and it doesn't have to be like high level self-hatred. Maybe you don't say, oh, I hate myself, but you're like disgusted, or you can't really look at yourself for a long time, or you're just frustrated that your clothes don't fit. It's like, I'm not going on this another diet. I'm doing this again, all of that. Mm-hmm. And some people actually feed off of that. So even people who feed off of that, like, oh, a new diet, or I get to learn all these things, mm-hmm. that is also somebody who is perfect for this program. And the people that we have in the community, because it's both, it's a course. It's right now, level 1 is an 8-week course with a very in-depth workbook, which I actually have a little picture of here, and it's available for purchase now. I'm so excited. But it goes along with the course in level 1, but it's for people who are really, really wanting to change from the inside out, who are sick of the yo-yo, sick of turning on themselves. Cause I always say, you can't hate yourself to health. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can't hate your body. You can't hate your mind. You can't hate your life and expect to have growth and change. And it's in every aspect of people's lives. So, for somebody who's wrestling with that, we go deep. Like, this is it, it's like, oh, just going to the gym is easy. Never mind, So, but be ready, because most of the people that are in the community and TDAH are on their second round. Oh, wow. Because the first time they did it, they're like, this is great information. I learned a lot and I had some changes. But going through it a second time is where they're really experiencing the real huge changes, because the first is like this shift. And so it's fun getting to hear people in their second round going, oh my gosh, I so get it. And this is like really radically changed me. And the stories that are coming out of it is just amazing at the life changes, relationship changes that people are experiencing, because that's all part of true growth and true healing.
Amazing. So you mentioned just a moment ago about success stories. Couldn't you share one of your most compelling success stories?
Yes. Let me see. I just had one that she blew me away. She was typing in the community, and I'm not going to say her name, but she was like, I have always worried about my family. And like, she's got all her kids are grown, and she's got some grandkids. And she's like, I've never been able to experience my kids and grandkids with joy because I'm always worried about them. And she came in here because she wants to lose weight. And so she's doing the work, and she's like, but one of the things I teach is it's called POP. It's power of the pause. And it's moving from the survival part of the brain to the connected, fully alive part of your brain, where true connections happen. And so, one of the things when you're in there is, we pop off, right? It just helps. It helps you remember. It's like you're pausing in a really stressful moment and moving up to the connected part. And she said she went to a recital and got to enjoy her granddaughter's recital for the first time, because she's like, in the middle of the recital, I literally popped and I got to enjoy the whole recital. And this is the reason why that's so huge. Is it might seem really kind of small, but it's not, because when you get that kind of connection, when you learn that you can live fully alive and not out of the survival part of your brain, it affects your whole life. And just kind of like the happy life agenda, when you truly connect to yourself, it brings happiness and joy, and you actually get to enjoy the moment instead of worrying. And so it's radically changed her life, and it has ripple effects into her health, her mindset, her body, her emotional state, all of that. And so it's so fun listening to the women just talk about how impactful it's been in their health journey.
Wow, that's a fantastic story. The power of the pause. And POP, I like that acronym. That's so cool. But you're absolutely right. It's like that, taking that moment to kind of rewire your brain and say, okay, what have I always done? And I'm rushing through moment to moment. I'm just eating to eat. And like, do I want this does it taste good? And then, being present for the moments with your family. It's so comprehensive what you're building. It's phenomenal. So you've mentioned that the program is 8 weeks long. Whenever someone embarks on this, we hear a lot of promises from weight loss programs that say, lose this many pounds in 8 weeks. So do you have any kind of average, or does it vary per person? Can you tell us a little bit about what people can expect for results?
Absolutely. It varies per person because in the program, you get to choose an eating plan. And because this is more of an emotional shift, it's like I have you, it's like choose an eating plan. So eat clean. And some women, actually several women, especially their first time through, they're like, my mom put me on a diet plan when I was 5 years old. I have
Oh my
4
gosh.
women right now that were put on Weight Watchers at 5.
Oh my gosh.
And so they have a mindset of diet culture. So my goal, the first section and run through is to change that. And so if they don't want to pick an eating plan, they don't have to. I'm like, just eat clean as much as you can. Make that choice, because the power of choice changes everything.
Yes.
And, pay attention to your body, because if you've shoved it down for so long, you don't know natural signals of being hungry. Those you have to wake those up in a new way that brings health. And so, probably on average, if I were to average it out, I would say the first run through is usually about 5 to 8 pounds for the 8 weeks. Second run through, I'm doing a cohort group right now where we're all going through it together. I'll be curious on the other side of that, because I'm hearing some more success stories. One of the things I actually have people do is, once you weigh and you do your measurements, put away the scale. You're not going to measure for 8 weeks. Get rid of the scale, because that will mess up your brain if you're always looking at a number. And then do your body measurements. I have to say this real quick. So in 2021, I was pretty healthy, and I'd done my measurements, and I hadn't done my measurements for a while. And I did them, and I've lost 30 inches.
Wow.
Since 2021. And I'm like looking at my pictures from 2021. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. So, but it does, because you may not lose like all this weight. But I had one woman who's like, I lost 3 pounds over the 8 weeks, but I think she lost 16 inches.
Wow.
And so, including that physical expression, like your clothes feel looser, maybe you're not losing the numbers that you want. But so those are some of the outcomes that are happening even within 8 weeks. And, I don't promise you're going to lose 60 pounds in 42 days, and it's all contingent on why you're doing this, what your process is, and what choices you're making in that process. But what I am after is a paradigm shift for you to no longer live in survival and live in connected. And from there, that's when progress happens in how you measure it yourself.
I love that. So you're really pairing the mindset shift, but you're also pairing it with an important thing that a lot of weight loss industry programs ignore. And that's that, weight loss is not just about the number on the scale. And we've been so brainwashed and trained, especially if you grew up in the 80s and 90s. I think today they're a little bit better. But when I used to coach clients, I'm like, same thing, throw away your scale. How do your clothes fit? Because muscle weighs more than fat. And so when you start to sculpt and build, you're measuring things that you don't have a lot of control over. If you have big bones, striving for a number on the scale is just the wrong way to go about it. So I love that you have honed in on that important piece. That's amazing. So what I want to kind of talk about now is that you've mentioned kind of you have a group, and then you also, I believe, have self-guided courses. So tell us a little bit about, what the difference between those two are. And if someone's just getting started, do you recommend one over the other?
So everybody has a different learning modality. And so if you are more of I like the groups where, we all go through it together, and I offer those just a few times a year, and, of course, with the beginning of the year, of course, we're doing an 8-week group. But the self-guided is great, because you can get in there, you watch the course, which is in alignment with the workbook, and you can download the workbook. There's actually a fillable one online, or you can purchase it to have just the paper. I'm a paper girl. So I like to be able to work in a workbook.
Yeah.
And so, there's just different modalities. And then if you're doing it on your own and the self-paced, the community is great because you get so much support from the different people in there. The community is very active. I'm having so much fun in there. I love just, stories and questions and all that. Then I also coach live every Monday at lunch. It's a lunchtime live. And so it's for an hour, and all of those are archived, very pretty in-depth library, resource library. And the Monday coaching is topical. And so things that are kind of covered in the workbook, but I talk about boundaries. I talk about, what's a trigger. We talk about maybe withdrawals, different aspects of your journey that will really, what's the word? A zhuzh. There's a better word than that, but really enhance. That's the word I'm looking for. Really enhance your 8-week journey within TDAH. And so, if you can't make those Mondays at noon, which is also Central Standard Time, then all of those are recorded and you can go back and watch them as many times as you want. But I also do one-on-one coaching within that coaching time. Oh, and so if somebody's got something that they're navigating, they're like, oh, how do I do this? Then you get to experience a bit of coaching, and you either receive it yourself, or when you watch somebody else go through it, you receive it as well. Because it's so great as a group to be able to navigate that. So
that's amazing.
It's very, very, lots of different options to really help you walk through in the different modalities.
Wonderful. So something that kind of fits every type of lifestyle. It's perfect.
Exactly. Yes.
Wonderful. All right. So tell everybody where they can go to get signed up for TDAH and learn more, and follow you on social and just be immersed in all things TDAH.
Yeah. So go to TDAH, which is Think Differently About Health, YOU, TDAHU.com. And then go there and you can read more about it. And if you have any questions, there's a contact form. There's a blog post there, all that kind of stuff. And then also you can follow me on socials at Polly A Hamp, and it's POLLY. A as in Anna, because my name is Polly Anna. Hamp, HAMP. And that's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and also YouTube. And so you can follow me on all the socials, lots of health content, thinking differently content, and all that. And so, but also just, it's a fun place to get to know each other in those socials.
Fantastic. Well, I'm so excited that you were able to join us today, Polly. Thank you so much. And to all of my Happy Life Agenda listeners, I want to let you know that I will be chatting with Polly some more. We'll feature her on a blog on thehappylifeagenda.com. So you'll have another resource to go and check out and follow her and learn more. So thanks again, Polly, for joining us today. And we will chat with you again soon.
Thank you for having me.